How's it going, everyone? As always, God bless you. Thank you for being here and welcome back. So this is going to be my true week 1 update on my tank as far as the cycling process is concerned. If you've been following my videos and you remember correctly, I told you guys I was going to take it week by week and show you guys the actual true cycle of a tank. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that show you how to, cycle tanks, but those tanks are already set up and have been running for a while, and then they kind of just discuss the cycling process. Well, this is good. It does, it's not the best for everybody. So what I'm going to try to do is just take you week by week and show you the changes that are occurring in the tank. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm actually going to point out is the water is nice and clear. No issues with that currently. I don't anticipate to have any issues. The water I used is reverse osmosis, RODI water, and then I have a deionizing filter that removes any other TDS that's left over from the reverse osmosis process. So it produces zero TDS water. Next thing I have done is I've used Red Sea's Coral Pro Salt Mix. Even though I don't have any corals in here currently, I will be adding some, eventually. So I wanted to start off with a nice salt mix. I did dry rock as opposed to live rock, and I will be adding more dry rock as time goes on. This is just kind of what I put in the tank thus far. The fish that I have in here is a magnificent foxface rabbitfish. I did decide to go with a hardier large fish, and I've wanted one of these guys for a long time, so that's what I went with. He produces quite a bit of waste, quite a bit of ammonia, which is needed for the biological process. I am adding a biological filter, if you will. It's a combination of good nitrifying bacteria to the water. I add it every single day for 7 days. This keeps the tank clean, and most importantly, it keeps the fish healthy, happy, and alive, because as we all know, ammonia and nitrite is very toxic to these animals. So in conjunction with the good water, the dry rock, the good sand, and then the live nitrifying bacteria, everything has been running great. Equipment-wise, I kind of showed you guys in another video what I had. I've got an Ecotech pump over there. I've got a dual carbon filter over here that I've thus added just to help clarify the water and keep things clean and smelling good. And then I have my protein skimmer. Of course, the light and the heater. Now I probably will add a carbon reactor as time goes on. I just did the dual carbon filter because it was available to me at the time. I'm not sure exactly which reactor I want to go with. To be quite honest, these dual carbon filters do work very well in the marine aquarium. They do exactly what they're intended to as far as carbon is concerned, and so I'm not having any issues with that whatsoever. Now let's take a look at the sand bed, because that's typically the first place you start to notice the cycling process. You might even notice it on your glass. Your glass gets a little scuzzy. My glass is a little dirty, but it's not actually from any growth or diatoms. It's just when I added that other bag of sand and the power head was kicking stuff around. I do have a little bit of sediment on the glass that you might be able to see in the video. You can actually see over there on the inside where it's a little bit dirty. I don't yet have a magnetic cleaner for my glass, so I have not yet cleaned my glass. You can see the water is crystal clear, and even with the little bit of film, or it's not even a film, I can't call it a film because it's not, it's a dusting from the sand. Even with the dusting on the sand, on the glass from the sand, everything is absolutely crystal clear, so I'm very pleased with the water quality. So let's talk sand. Typically you start to see brown sand, which is the diatoms forming in the sand. Let me see if I can brighten this up a little bit. I do apologize, the blues that come off of this light, the spectrum, it does mess with my camera, so I'll do my very best to try to get a clear picture here. But I have no brown sand whatsoever. Everything is actually nice and white, even though it does not look white in the video. Again, it's because of the blue hue from the lights. There is no brown on my rock. There is no brown in my sand. I do not yet have diatoms. Now, will I get them? I don't know, honestly. It's part of the cycling process, so I would assume at some point I should get some, but the water I'm using is super, super, super clean, and with the addition of the beneficial bacteria, I suppose it's possible that I might not see it at all. But to be honest, that's just kind of something that we'll both see as time goes on, because truth be told, I have always had diatoms when I started a tank. This is only week 1, so maybe they just haven't reared their head yet. But if I don't get diatoms, then at that point I would say, well, I'm not getting diatoms, not because the tank isn't cycled, but because the RODI deionized water was so clean, and then the addition of the good nitrifying bacteria and then keeping my bio load down might have had something to do with that. I have zero algae, zero nuisance algae, zero diatoms, zero film on my glass, nothing like that negative whatsoever. So yeah, if you guys want to produce the same crystal clear, clean results, then what I suggest is RODI, deionized water. Get your TDS as low as possible, and then you add your good live bacterial sand, your live sand. And then the reason I chose to go with dry rock as opposed to live rock is for a multitude of reasons. The dry rock will in time become live rock. It is also a biological filter. I'm going to be seeding the tank with additional nitrifying bacteria as time goes on, and it will eventually become live rock. The reason I chose to do it this way is because true live rock that does not start off dry, but you buy at a local fish store, and you never know what's on it and what's in it. It's full of nitrates, it's full of phosphates, and in a lot of cases it could have could contain nuisance algae. And then besides all of those factors leaking into your tank, a lot of times they do contain some stuff you don't want in the tank. Nuisance starfish, nuisance crabs, nuisance anemones, the list goes on. Now people will argue and say, well, Gage, live rock that's cultured has got copepods and good bacteria on it. Yes, it does, but guess what? I can add those to my tank very cost effectively, and now I have just the good stuff and none of the bad stuff. That's why I chose to do it this way. So if you would like to produce the same crystal clear, clean results as I have, RODI, deionized water, good live sand, whatever brand you prefer, clean dry rock, you just can go to any pet store, it's cheaper than live rock, you just buy it in bulk or whatever it is that you want to do. Come home, rinse the rock out in RODI, deionized water, to get all the dust off, put it in the tank, and then just add yourself a good protein skimmer, some type of additional filtration for help, with water clarification, a good heater, a good light. The light's really not necessarily, well, actually, no, I take that back, it is important. The bacteria, I'm sure, thrive within the light as well, I would assume. I'm not 100% sure on that. I like to think it's all kind of part of the process, but that's what I've done, and these are my true results currently. I have not yet done a water change on the tank. It's only week 1. I might actually let it ride out for another handful of days before I decide to do a water change. Alright guys, if you guys have any questions, comments, please like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Take care guys. Bye.